Hello, you're watching Rock, Paper, Shotgun. Now, normally this is the bit where I make a strained connection between our channel's name and the shotgun in the game that I'm covering. Wolfenstein Youngblood does have a good shotgun. Here it is turning Nazis into soup, which is my preferred form of Nazi. But I'm also a little too conflicted about this latest entry in the series to put my heart into my terrible jokes. I've played the first two stages of this co-op focused rampage, but it left me cold in a way I wasn't expecting. On paper, there's a lot to love here, a lot of passion for the project, a lot of good ideas, but I struggled to see some of them shine in the game that I played. So I'm going to whip through what did and didn't work and reveal some extra info the senior designer shared in an interview. So let's dig in.
Keep it up, sis! You're a goddamn champ!
So yes, Youngblood is co-op and it plays it straight. You play as Jess or Sophie, the daughters of BJ Blazkowicz, who are looking for their missing father. Don't expect any detective work, they just kill anyone who isn't their dad. As a co-op duo, their interactions are very vanilla. You can revive your downed sister.
I'm down, Soph! Need assistance!
And the pair of you can gang up on doors or crates. Don't get too excited. You'll also find keypads that require one sister to read a nearby password to the other. It's less a puzzle, more a way of stopping one of the sisters from charging off ahead. One cute touch I do like is giving the team a temporary health or armor buff by flashing a pep emote in your sister's direction. A pair of devil horns gives extra armor, for example, or you can offer a health boosting thumbs up. I like the idea of nonsense emotes actually having a role in the game. You can unlock increasingly stupid mimes to perform, each with different buffs. As heroes go, the sisters are basically the same character. Jess starts the campaign with a machine gun and Sophia has a shotgun, but both can collect the opposite weapon as they play. Mechanically, there's not a lot of interaction between the two beyond coordinating your attacks. You know the deal, send one sister in with a cloaking device to pick off a guard, or copy one of those scripted Call of Duty moments where you both aim for the head on the count of 3. I am surprised by its lack of ambition. I mean, why commit to a co-op campaign and not find more interplay between two characters? Playing it with a fellow human just felt like playing Wolfenstein with a random AI assistant who occasionally ran into my line of sight. Just a health icon by the side of the screen that I'd occasionally flash a glance at. It's not ever bad, but a missed opportunity perhaps. Co-op is so simple in fact that I wasn't surprised when Andreas Oyefor, a senior game designer, said he prefers to play it solo with an AI-controlled sister. He says machine games put a lot of effort into making a co-op experience for solo players. He describes a few key aims. 1. That your AI sister shouldn't be annoying. Cue bad memories of terrible Natalia in GoldenEye. 2. That she should act like a real person. This basically means lots of lines of colourful banter that react to the combat situation. I mean, she certainly has her father's way with language.
Gonna take out this Nazi asshole!
Much trickier to judge is the third goal, that she feels like she's contributing in combat. Oyefor wants the character to follow your lead. If you do well, she'll do well alongside you. You will have some control over her. You can use the enemy spotting mechanic to focus her attention on a specific target. But until we play the game in solo mode, it is going to be impossible to judge how well it holds up as a more traditional Wolfenstein experience. The one thing that definitely won't change between solo and co-op, and this is one of the things which leaves me a bit conflicted, is the decision to pump up enemy health to offer a suitable challenge to a pair of heroes. As you'll notice, enemies now have health bars above their heads. Yes, Youngblood has become one of those RPG light shooters, in the vein of Destiny, Far Cry New Dawn or The Division. Now perhaps you like those games, I like those games, but those games are not Wolfenstein. I ask Oyefors about the introduction of health bars, and he freely admits that it's the kind of thing the studio has avoided in the past. Things like health bars break immersion, he says, and they are in the immersion business. They had to include them this time in order for co-op partners to read the battlefield, see which enemies were closer to death, so we can focus our efforts. That makes sense, but as you now have two characters, it also means introducing enemies with incredibly inflated health, big problems that act as focal points for co-op play. For me, the introduction of bullet sponges is totally at odds with the series. All of a sudden you find yourself with guns that feel like machine game guns, but are emptying bullets into enemies that don't feel like machine game enemies. Yes, you have the grunts you can pick off with a shot to the head or a shotgun to the chest, but you also find a lot more super soldiers, clad in armour that eats round after round of ammo as tiny bits of armour flake off the health bar. What the hell are the Nazis feeding these big strong boys? It can't be the local cuisine. I've been to Paris. I ate an onion pie and had the worst heartburn I've ever experienced. Whatever miracle elixir they're on, the Blaskovitz girls needs to put a stop to it, because when you can empty 6 point-blank blasts of a shotgun into an enemy's head with no obvious effect, it makes your weapon feel like a pissing Nerf gun. Now that I watched the amazing E3 trailer where you see skillful death blows choreographed to the music, and it just doesn't reflect the game I played at all. I'm not saying it's difficult, you can easily outmaneuver any lumbering brutes, but it was often boring. How is that even possible in a machine game's first-person shooter? One potential solution is to play stealthily. New Wolfenstein does embrace sneakier Nazi hunters after all. The power suits, the armour that makes the girls look like walking disco balls, have unlockable abilities including an invisibility cloak, good for enjoying the gooey instant kills. Their daddy trained them well. And if you grab a hatchet, you can lob it for silent takedowns at range. It wasn't in our build, but Oyefors says they added a system that rewards bonus XP if you clear an area without getting seen. This could be a fun co-op challenge. I say could, my partner was much too in love with his machine gun. And you can always invest in more stealth abilities to skulk around combat. I mentioned XP a second ago, you now level up, gaining extra damage and ability points. You spend points on a skill tree, and the things you unlock are pretty similar to the perks in the older games, you just don't have the combat challenges to access them. Because of this similarity, it doesn't feel jarring. In fact, a lot of it reminds me of the contraptions in the new Colossus, the different powers that offer different routes. The wall-destroying shoulder barge in Youngblood is basically the same as ramshackles in the last game. While I'm talking about RPG-ish elements, Youngblood also changes weapon customization. You now buy mods from a large menu using silver coins found dotted about the world. This encourages you to explore hidden rooms through air vents and behind password-protected doors, but it also gives you more control over the weapons in your hands. Seeing a wall of gun stats change as you swap in parts feels a bit weird in a series where I normally point and shoot without thinking about it, but if it helps chew through that tough armour, I'm not going to complain. The bit of Youngblood I'm most interested in is the bit you don't get to see in these levels. The game is a co-production between Machine Games and Arcane Leon, the studio behind Dishonored, and Oyefors tells us that if we played past the opening levels, we'd see Arcane's fingerprints more clearly. Once you get through the more traditional stages, an attack on an airship and an escape through the Parisian streets, made by Machine Games themselves, you reach the Catacombs, which acts as a hub for the game. From here, the story branches into 3 key missions, each one in a different district of Paris, and you travel to them with a metro map and are free to tackle them in any order you want. These districts were handled by Arcane. Oyefors says if you've played in Dishonored sandbox stages, you'll have an idea of what to expect. With this in mind, certain things make more sense. The silver coins will feel more precious when you sniff them out in complex city environments, and enemies level up alongside you, introducing new soldier types to keep areas as fresh as you revisit them. Oyefors says each kind of enemy has 4 or 5 evolutions, changing looks and moves as they get tougher, and you will need to revisit areas. Once you've done the story quests, these districts will be filled with side quests that you'll do for the French resistance. Some will even take you between multiple districts, I'm told. Yep, it certainly sounds like the game comes alive at the Catacombs, if only our demo didn't stop when we got to the front door. This side of the game sounds brilliant, and there are flashes of it in the bits we play. Leaving the soldier-filled streets takes us to apartments where you find documents filling in backstory, or maybe some secret dossiers that need to be translated in code-breaking machines hidden elsewhere in the stage. I like the verticality. At one point our partner fights a robot dog on the city streets, while I hide on a rooftop sniping down at its weak points. In moments like this, the game finally bursts to life, and I hope for more of it in the final thing. Part of me does struggle to see how dense exploration and co-op are meant to work together. It won't be much fun if you want to push on while your pal looks for coins in abandoned bathrooms. Maybe this is why Oyefors prefers playing alone. There's no idiot with his hand down the crapper. And I'm curious to see just how big it is. I'm told it has the longest playtime of any of their games, which would be wild for a between-game side project. It would be sweet too. I mean, the game releases at a lower price, £25 in the UK, and buying it lets you loan a copy to a friend to play co-op, so you could go halves and get it for £12 each. Still doesn't fix the bullet sponge issue, but maybe takes the sting out of it. So, as I said, conflicted. Oyefors talks a great game, and Arcane are in my top 5 studios. There's a lot to love on paper. I hope that playing further and playing with an AI companion might see the game spark into life and help push past the weird combat hurdle I'm currently feeling. Maybe they'll tweak enemy health between now and then, and the whole thing will snap into perfection. I guess we'll see on July the 26th. I hope this video made sense. If you have any questions about what I played, bang them in the comments. Please do like and subscribe, you know, you have to these days. And if you are into Bethesda flavoured shooters, do watch my hands-on impressions with Doom Eternal, a game I had very few problems with. Thanks for watching, and hopefully see you soon.